Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
And we are live here in Cold Spring Harbor, New York. So glad you could join us on the Varsity Media Sports Network for the renewal of a rivalry here on Long Island, the latest chapter between Carle Place and Cold Spring Harbor, as this should be an excellent showdown, the second time that both of these teams are colliding with one another after Cold Spring Harbor won 2-0 earlier this season over Carle Place, and this is a very rich history between these programs. Lance Meadow, Rob Anderson with you here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Thanks so much for tuning in. Rob, we really don't need to set the stage for this one. There's so much history between these programs, and it really goes even back to last year's Class B County Championship game in which Carle Place was victorious.
Yeah, Carle Place got that edge, Lance, and honestly, these two teams, there's no love lost between them, right? They know each other when you're in the B schools, especially. It's tight communities, playing each other repetitively. This year, a very tight race. Friends Academy at the top of their charts. They're battling for positioning right now. Carle Place 2-2-1 coming into this thing. They need to fight, need a win on this really badly. Cold Spring Harbor needs to just make sure that they're doing business.
Yeah, to your point, the Frogs just really trying to maintain an identity and create one, I should say, as well. So let's take you through the impactful players to keep close tabs on over the course of this matchup, as there is a lot of talent on each side of the equation. And the Frogs, this is a team, as you mentioned, Rob, that is still trying to get a feel for itself. But Lucas Villegas and Evan Mehalakis, those are the two players certainly to watch.
Yeah, when you look at Lucas Villegas, I mean, speed, technical. His dad, the assistant coach of the team, longtime soccer guru. He's going to be up there trying to score the goals for Carle Place. And then Evan Mehalakis, his older brother, was a big part of the team last year. He's stepping in, trying to, assert himself and be the new Mehalakis star on this team. Both of them can put it in the net and distribute extremely well.
You see their numbers on the season. Stratos, his brother, who you're referring to, only 18 goals last season. So that's a lot of scoring power that they're going to have to fill the void for over the course of this campaign. And then Cold Spring Harbor also trying to work with some continuity on their end when it comes to their key players. And when you look at who to hone in on, it really starts with Graydon Vitagliano. You see his number, 6 goals, 12 points, and then Connor Sheridan, who does a little bit of everything.
You said it. When it comes to Vitagliano, I mean, 6 goals. You said 6 goals, 12 points on the season. He is a finisher. Get him the ball, he'll find the net. When it comes to Connor Sheridan, he's a leader out on that field. He goes out there, he sees the field real well, serves as almost like a quarterback here. He's got a goal and 2 assists, but it's what he does off the ball that makes him such an impressive soccer player.
Sheridan last season All-County. Vitagliano was honorable mention All-County. Let's run you through the keys to today's game. And, Rob, why don't you take us through what each squad has to do?
Carle Place knows they got to win the 50-50 balls. First touch is the most important touch, and they got to make sure they clean things up. They've got to finish whatever opportunities they get because they might not have a ton against a very good Cold Spring Harbor. When he says play our game, they play tough. Just like their coach, Connor Reardon, they are tough, and they're going to go out there and play tough soccer. Cold Spring Harbor, high-energy game. This is 7 p.m., home under the lights on a humid day. Keep that energy going. Be organized. Maintain triangles. Communicate. And same thing, finish your opportunities.
We'll step aside, come back, set the starting lineups. It's Carle Place at Cold Spring Harbor here on Long Island on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You've seen the dedication, the long hours, the early mornings, the sacrifice. You know your athlete has what it takes, but how do you make sure the right people see it? The recruiting process isn't easy. Coaches are flooded with highlights, but how do you stand out in the crowd? At Varsity Media, we specialize in creating game-changing ISO videos, high-definition, athlete-focused footage that highlights exactly what college recruiters want to see. With our up-close ISO video, we capture your athlete's key moments. No more wide angles showing other players. This is just your athlete's pure, raw talent. This is more than a video. This is the opportunity your athlete deserves. Give your athlete the edge they need. Make the right impression with Varsity Media's ISO video service. The future starts now.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships.
The home team, the Seahawks, hosting the Carle Place Frogs. As both of these teams met earlier this season, it was a 2-0 victory for Cold Spring Harbor. So let's take you through the starting lineups and the goalkeepers for both teams as we continue to set the stage for what should be an entertaining affair here in this Class B matchup. And Carle Place, we highlighted some of their impactful players, specifically Villegas and Mahalakis off the top, but there's plenty of other lethal talent on this roster, specifically Cristiano Costa, their central midfielder, who has a goal and 3 assists, 5 points, which is tied for first on the team. So he's another player that has a knack, as we take a look at this group, to put the ball in the net.
Yeah, you said it. And starting with the guy in the net, it's Sebastian Reynoso. And then on that defense, center back Evan Mahalakis. We talked about him. Nicholas Scaccia. Did I say it right? Scaccia, right. I got to get my Italian. Andrew Aravelo, Jared Nunez, Lucas Villegas, the center mid with Gavin Lima, Cristiano Costa, Justin Escobar, Anthony Maffetone, and Logan Gomez up top.
As we take a look at Sebastian Reynoso, their senior goalkeeper, who has recorded 32 saves thus far this season against 10 goals. So he's got a save percentage of 76% on the young season thus far, and he's going to have to keep this Cold Spring Harbor Seahawks attack in check, as he was in goal for the last matchup in which they lost 2-0. Here's a look at the starting lineup for Cold Spring Harbor, as we highlighted a few of their players off the top, Connor and Graydon. The Light brothers, certainly 2 players to keep close tabs on as we inch closer to kickoff here and see their talent allotted. And their goalkeeper will be, of course, Ty Donaldson, as the kickoff underway here in Cold Spring, New York. And it will be a back-and-forth affair to start the first half. And certainly Cold Spring Harbor, the home team, looking to set the stage early, just like they did in matchup number 1.
Yeah, you can bet that both Christian Lynch, the coach of Cold Spring Harbor, and Connor Reardon, the coach of Carle Place, they've seen each other. There's not really much of a feeling out process. Let's just get to it, boys. First one to strike is going to be the one that's going to have a little bit of swagger early on.
Carle Place with a 4-5-1 alignment. Cold Spring Harbor goes with a 4-4-2, so slight differential from that standpoint. So glad you could join us here on the Varsity Media Sports Network, presented by Lifestyle Sports. We'll have a throw-in here.
Yeah, and so far right now, Carle Place is trying to build up field slowly. You notice that they're kind of passing their way up, not sending the long ball right away. And Cold Spring Harbor just trying to counter and get possession at the moment.
Well, there's a Cold Spring Harbor team that is down 3 starters, interestingly, this season. Connor Chamyank, their senior defender, broke his nose against Friends Academy on September 6th. Andrew Jasinski, sophomore midfielder, broke his toe against West Hempstead last Wednesday. And then Sal LaCapra, their senior midfielder, he's also been sidelined with a concussion. So it's hard to gain some chemistry, Rob, when you're losing that much firepower and personnel.
Yeah, a lot of adjustment on the fly. Nice ball there. The attempt looking for Justin Escobar, but a little too heavy of a touch. But, yeah, you said it. When you're down a lot of guys, you got to make all these adjustments. And this is where coaching comes into play. You know, you got to keep your boys alert and ready to go, and you got to know who's going to come in off the bench and serve in those positions. Scorekeeper's called out a save. Is that what we got there? 1 save so far?
That's what we have indeed for those keeping tally at home. As Reynoso trying to clear it out here. He's a first-year starter, which is not an easy job, no matter how much you spin it. Last season, he was behind Max Cordova, their super athletic goalkeeper, so he certainly learned a lot from that standpoint. And that shot goes wide towards the left side of the goal.
Yeah, Stifel getting underneath that one, just missing wide, but having one of the first scoring opportunities there for Cold Spring Harbor. So they're trying to find their way as Cold Spring Harbor so far dominating possession early in this game.
Stimfel with a goal and 2 assists this season, who unleashed that shot. This is his 4th year on the team, so he's been a staple for the Seahawks as Cold Spring Harbor trying to retain possession here.
The other thing you notice up top is number 23 there for Carle Place, Cristiano Costa. He's moving back and forth. They really like to build up both sides. They don't commit to one. He moves with the flow of traffic, and they're trying to find him.
Well, he's such a crafty player. Talking with their coaching staff this week, specifically Connor Reardon, he actually said that him and Gavin Lima, who is one of their central midfielders, are very similar in terms of their approach and their skill set, and they can finish with both feet, which makes them extremely dangerous. As the Seahawks trying to spread the wealth here to get on the board first. Cold Spring Harbor, in their last matchup, which was a non-league game at John Glenn, got beat up, according to head coach Christian Lynch. It was a bit of a wake-up call, a reminder. But the reason why they play tough non-league opponents is to prepare, Rob, for a matchup like this.
Yeah, you said it. And John Glenn, one of the tops of the tops, a bigger school that'd be. So Christian Lynch getting in there and saying, hey, we're going to take our lumps because we're going to see the best talent. We're a playoff team. So maybe I stand corrected, Lance. It looks like they are feeling each other out. Not anybody really taking control so far. We know that these teams do tend to get physical, and we got 2 of the best officials in Nassau County out there, Jimmy Memos and Eric Smith, both veterans. Let the boys be boys. They'll let them play, but they're going to keep an eye on things.
Well, both right now jockeying for position here, with the Frogs in possession and looking for an opportunity in front of the net, as Ty Donaldson is there to secure it. Got a pair of senior goalkeepers in this matchup. Donaldson, the only match that he did not play this season was September 13th against Hewlett. So he has been in the thick of things, and that shot on goal is through the back of the net. Graydon Vitagliano picking up where he left off for the Seahawks. They call him G for a reason because he knows how to score goals, Rob.
Yeah, there you go, and that's a G-thang right there. He busted through, added number 7 to his resume. Take a look here. Brings it down with the chest. Beautiful touch. Second touch, gorgeous. And 3 defenders around him, and he still finds a touch, makes it look easy. Just like that, Carle Place up. Cold Spring Harbor up 1-0.
So Vitagliano, who came in with 6 goals and 12 points, is adding in both of those categories. And if you caught the celebration, it looked like a bit of a snorkel. I don't know what he was insinuating there, Rob. I think you're going to have to be the translator for tonight's broadcast. But perhaps he's giving you an inkling of where maybe his summer vacation will be once the season is going to be. Perhaps in the tropics somewhere. So Vitagliano making his presence felt as he had 6 goals in his first 5 games, including a hat trick against Evergreen Charter. He had none in the last 3, so that was his first goal in 4 contests, and that is a big positive sign for the Seahawks.
And Lance, you saw him do what he does, Beth. It's that smooth touch. He did it all himself. You know, the ball got to him, ball finds him, but there were 3 defenders. He beat the first one with the chest, second one with a light touch with his left foot, got it to the right, bada bing, bada boom.
He dug deep into his bag of maneuvers to outwit the Frogs' defensive alignment. Now Carle Place looking to respond. As we take a look at Gavin Lima, one of their midfielders. Lima's tied for first with 5 points. And you see Justin Escobar trying to chase it down. And Escobar is quite the presence at the top left side of your screen. He stands at only 6'4". I was talking with Connor Reardon this week, and he said, yeah, you can't miss him, no matter how much you try.
And that's a great weapon to have on both sides of the ball, those corner kicks, those free balls, winning the 50-50s. When you got size like that, that's the guy you look for on both sides when it comes to any kind of free kicks.
And Escobar is technically sound. They love what he has to offer. The one thing, Rob, they're trying to get him to do is just play a little bit more physical and utilize that frame to him and the team's advantage.
Well, sometimes these guys have growth spurts, almost like baby giraffes. They're kind of learning their bodies. I've seen it. You know, you see kids come back, and they're all of a sudden 6'3", and they're kind of getting their legs. They're still a little wobbly. But, you know, a little more meat on his bones, and physicality certainly will and should be part of his game. We got a big spot here.
I didn't get that memo as a junior in high school about the growth spurt, as you can attest to.
Well,
so,
nor did I. My stomach did.
That was quite the surge. Well, we'll leave it at the frame overall, north and south, as opposed to east and west, as we get ready for a corner kick here. Gavin Lima sending one in front, and a great job by Donaldson to sacrifice his body to prevent a deflection.
And that's what you want out of a keeper. That was instinctual. He saw where the ball was going. He said, I'm going to take it. I can use my hands. You can't. And thwarts that free kick opportunity.
So Carle Place looking to get back on the attack. Their last game was a few days ago. They were shut out by Mineola, 6-0. So both teams are looking for a regroup and a bounce back. Prior to that, they blanked West Hempstead 1-0. Anthony Maffetone, their forward, trying to chase that down.
Looks like Connor Sheridan's going to take the throw here. And it was Coach Lynch calling that out right as soon as it happened.
Tried to set up Josh Stimfel on the header. And Sheridan, he's the team captain. And they go as he goes. And we're talking about an extremely versatile athletic player, which you were referencing, Rob, earlier. Believe it or not, he's actually committed to play baseball at the next level. He'll be taking his talents to Stonehill. So he could do a little bit of everything.
You can see he's a big boy. He stands out, too, out there. He's a big, strong, physical athlete. So not just size, but the strength on him, and he's a handful.
And puts a lot of pressure on the opposition because of his skill set. And you could see Stimfel in the thick of things there, as Escobar will set up Lima. Can Carle Place get a good look in front of the net? They had one earlier, But so far, it's been the Seahawks dictating the tone as we reach the 29-minute mark here in the first half.
I can tell you one thing, Coach Reardon. You see him on the sidelines there. He's a passionate man. He's going to get frustrated with this defense if they keep playing with the ball the way they do. They're taking some soft touches out there, and this Seahawk offense way too aggressive.
There's Ty Donaldson in position once again. You go back to that first matchup that the Seahawks won 2-0, and when Connor Reardon was looking back at the film, he just said they did not play, as that shot goes too high, they didn't play their true game for a full 80 minutes. He said, we played a full game maybe for about 50 in terms of the interpretation, but we're the type of team, we can't do it halfway. We've got to have that complete finishing-esque type of performance, and that's what really they're yearning for this evening.
Yeah, they certainly are. They got to bring it together. Sense of urgency. You know, there's still a lot of time left, but you feel it already as Cold Spring Harbor continues to just put pressure. And if they keep pressing the way they are, Cold Place might have to start thinking about that long ball instead of just building up the field. Obviously, you want to be technical, but they got to break through, and they haven't done so in a little while now.
They have not been able to win much of the 50-50 battles. This is going to head back to Carle Place, but it has been the relentless effort of the Seahawks that has stood out thus far in this contest. As we're going to have a throw-in.
Checking in for Carle Place, number 2, Logan Gomes.
So Logan Gomes is coming in for the Frogs. There's Cristiano Costa. He's trying to set up a teammate.
So I just got a hot update from the Oyster Bay coach, one of the varsity media family, Brian Donahue. Oyster Bay and Wheatley tied 1-1. So Oyster Bay picking up their third tie. They're 2-2 now. And Wheatley now 4-1-2. So Oyster Bay jumping in the conversation puts a little more pressure on Carle Place to jump up in the standings today.
Well, this is a Frogs team that is used to competing for county championships, being in the mix for the state. And this is a bit of uncharted territory, Rob, you could say, this season. Now, they've lost some talent. You can't dismiss that. And one of the most notable players of all is, of course, Ryan Leary. And those locally and even nationally watching the news, he has stolen headlines because he is not able, like he did in the past, to balance two sports as a football player and a soccer player. And you're talking about an all-state athlete, and you're talking about last season's captain. And to find out that news right before the season starts, you could say you have depth to tweak the rotations and the alignments, but certainly not easy to do on the fly.
No, and he is impossible to replace. Like you said, state champions, coming back, all-state player twice in soccer and basketball. He wants to play soccer. He's still hoping he can get back out on the field. He did it last year, football and soccer, as a kicker. This year wanted to catch a few passes, and the district putting their foot down on that one. And but ultimately, Ryan wants to be out there, and we know that Coach Reardon would love for him to be out there. But we're at the halfway point, and he's running out of time if any decision is going to get flipped.
Right, clearly the district, for those maybe unfamiliar with the story, even though I'm sure a lot of the soccer community are well read on it, citing safety concerns as to why being a wide receiver, unlike a kicker, is different in terms of the hits and trying to balance both with soccer. But there have been many people, Rob, on the record that have said that there is not necessarily a written cut and dry rule that says that he can't balance both.
No, and when you were a kicker last year, you kind of expect. And again, I can't emphasize it enough. I've watched this boy for 3 years. Man, if there's anybody in Nassau County that can do it, it's Ryan Leary. He's built to last. He knows when he's fatigued. He takes care of his body on and off the field, and his maturity level is beyond both of us. So we hope the best for Ryan, honestly. His dad, Pat, as well, and he wants to be out there. That's the message that Ryan wants us to make sure they get out. And we got a card.
So a delay of game here. as Maffetone is going to re-enter the game for Carle Place.
14 checks back in for Carle Place.
And that's a tough break because you got Lucas Villegas now with that card hanging over his head for the delayed game. If there's anybody on that field you don't want having the yellow card hanging over its head, it's number 17 this early in the matchup.
So Cold Spring Harbor here with the free kick from Stimfel. And they mistimed the header as there was a lot of activity in front of the net.
Yeah, it looked like they found some kind of foul in the mayhem there. Not quite sure what was called, but once a goalie goes down, the officials are very cognizant of making sure they're taken care of. We'll get a look here. Maybe the tie-up down there between Mihalakis and the keeper could be what was called, but ultimately both of these officials are going to protect the goalkeepers. That's a mission of all the referees.
That seems to be the most logical ruling from that play, as Reynosa, it looked like, took a pretty hard fall as he was going up to secure the ball. And Carle Place doing a little dancing to try to get it the opposite side to no avail. And just getting back to the Leary story, not to belabor the point, Rob, but the other thing that I think you can easily argue, and I thought maybe you were alluding to this, is those that know the game of football backwards and forwards can argue, even if you're a kicker, or even if you want to take it to the degree of a punter, that does not excuse you from the physicality of the game.
No.
You know, you have a return, you may be asked to tackle, you could have a kick that's blocked. So the idea that certain football positions are perhaps erased from taking hits, I think is a little misleading under the big picture of the game.
And from what I understand, originally there were going to be some limitations. They had conversations about it, but once the pressure was on, Ryan was playing with his friends on the football team, and that season starts a week earlier than soccer. He made the commitment and was expecting to play soccer by now. So, again, unfortunate situation. Carle Place is doing their best. The boys that are out there right now, and that's the other thing I can tell you from talking to Coach Reardon and Ryan and his dad, these boys still love him, understand the situation, and they want to make him proud out there. They're going to pick up where he left off. They would love to have him back out on the field. You got a bunch of Warriors out there, and now Villegas stepping into that role as the leader on the field.
Well, and the other thing that kind of Reardon emphasized is whether Leary's on the field, on the pitch or not, the standard doesn't change. The goal of winning a county championship remains regardless of the circumstances. And I think that says a lot about the team and other players trying to take advantage of their opportunities and stepping up. And the goals perhaps are down from last season, which is understandable, but it's just more of perhaps a balanced attack that you need to account for. And remember, it's Leary and it's also Stratos that you're talking about are removed from the picture. So, I mean,
Pereira.
that's the double, triple whammy that we're referring to here.
Yeah, they were state champs because that group came up together, and this group's on a reset. You know, they're doing their thing. But that group came up together and cultivated quite a product in Carle Place. And I had the pleasure of jumping on that state run with them, and they was so much fun to watch. And, again, you see it out here. Now, look at the Cold Spring Harbor team. Right now, they're kind of built for that type of success. They're big. They're physical. They move the ball well. So, we might be looking at a changing of the guard a little bit here. Who knows? But Coach Reardon will smack me for saying that out loud. But for Christian Lynch and his crew over here, I mean, they just look like they are built to go deep into a playoff run.
Especially with the way that Vitagliano is playing right now. And he feels that his team has been battle-tested with some tough non-league opponents, which certainly has prepared his team for what is going to lie ahead. And it's just a matter of them building some consistency. That's been the issue for them. And finishing their opportunities. You go back to the keys of the game that we set off the top of the broadcast, and energy and finishing, the 2 points of emphasis for Christian Lynch. So Justin Escobar is returning to action for Carle Place, as it's still been Cold Spring Harbor's game here.
It certainly has. You know, in the beginning, Carle Place was doing a nice job putting some passes together, but since then, and again, it's that first touch. They are coming hard, this Cold Spring Harbor team. And it's starting to get bumpy. They're starting to bump a little bit out there. Gavin Lima putting some shoulder-to-shoulder hits out there. No love lost. They are going to play this game hard, and their identities are going to start to certainly come to fruition a little bit more as we play this one out.
Well, and you can guarantee the Frogs remember the loss earlier this season. It's not like a lot of time has passed. We're talking about in the span of a month, you meet a rival in the blink of an eye, so you haven't really had additional weeks or months to perhaps have those wounds healed. So here will be a throw-in again for Sheridan. Big facet of his game. As Rio Furukawa was trying to box out there.
He's another one that's fun to watch. Furukawa, he can just pop out of nowhere.
And he actually missed some time earlier this season, 3 games. He split open his eyelid earlier this month against Friends Academy, so he returned about a week and a half ago against Oyster Bay, so he's trying to get his footing back. But that has been the nature of the beast for Cold Spring Harbor. They just have had so many guys in and out of the lineup, it's almost as if it's become routine. Not that it's a welcome routine, but they have just accepted the blows and the punches and have run with it. Nice job here by Sheridan to try to create some space. And he'll try to reset here in the corner.
That was a nifty little pass. Sorry, that was a nifty little pass on the outside of his foot there. Sheridan showing off what he can do. Just couldn't get that last touch.
As in the corner, that was Luke Vaccaro, senior forward. He's a spark plug off the bench. And Christian Lynch was very impressed with his performance Monday at John Glenn. Showed him a lot in terms of what he could provide this team down the stretch of the season as Reynoso comes in to save the day there. So this is a first half that has really been dominated by the Seahawks on their zone of attack. We'll see whether or not Carle Place can flip the script as we approach 17 minutes to go here in the first half. And thanks so much for joining us on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Lance Meadow, Rob Anderson with you. It is presented by Lifestyle Sports. As Luis Gutierrez is going to check in for the Frogs. He'll replace Logan Gomes. Gutierrez is actually making his season debut. He's been hurt. So this is a welcomed addition back in the mix for Carle Place.
Yeah, Carle Place looking again just to get some. You can see this is a veteran coach, both sides, right? You got Steve Lorino, assistant to Connor Reardon over there, and you could bet they got to figure out a way to how to get the ball out of the back because they are not handling the press well, and that's something that the Seahawks were not doing right out of the gate. Then they said we can press this defense and stir up some mistakes. They took advantage of one, almost another with Sheridan. So we'll see if they can make the adjustments on the Frog side.
They've got to find a way to leap over the defense, essentially.
They certainly do.
Yeah.
They're not going to let them do it easily either. And on the other side, before Christian Lynch, it's Kevin Colhaney, who's been there for a long time as well. You know, these are two staffs that have been with these clubs for a long, long, long time.
And there's also a great deal, based on what you're saying, familiarity between the teams. Just from talking to both coaches this week, Rob, you know, one of the things that I posed was when you meet so often between the regular season and the playoffs, you know, how do you walk that fine line in terms of sticking to what has bode well for you versus digging deep into your bag of tricks? And it's hard because no matter how much you overthink things, it could easily come back to bite you, given they know the personnel so well.
They do. They know each other very well. You know, it comes down to knowing what horses you're going to run out there, and then, you know, you can't have too many bags of tricks because you're going to run out, but, you know, every now and again, surprise somebody. change it up a little bit. But these two, again, off the field too, friends. Oh, I think that's all of us that are out there. You know, when we're against each other, there might not be kind words, but we always shake hands when it's over and, you know, share a slice of pizza at a meeting or something.
Well, I don't know. I heard some things in conversations, Rob. Maybe off the air, I'll fill you in.
Are they about me?
I don't know. I don't want to have you paint a hypothetical fairy tale land that perhaps you think you're living in. And that is not a good sign for Carle Place as Evan Mahalakas is shaken up. Let's take another look here. And it looks like the back of his cleat perhaps got caught.
Yeah, it didn't look like there was anything foul, and maybe Mihalak is selling it a little bit. I don't know. I hope he's all right. He got up with a little limp. But that free kick maybe turned into something for Carle Place.
No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask them for a whole sleeve. You will. Yeah, no, exactly.
Gavin Lima looking to control.
Well, I'm actually going to get 2 sleeves from him because he says he's got about 100. He does. He has a box.
And the Seahawks not wasting any time trying to get it into the possession of Sheridan, who has been all over the place. And good things tend to happen when his feet do the talking.
For a Cowa down right now, but no whistle. Play on. Comes up with a little bit of a limp.
And he's back now in the mix of things. He's actually waving off the coaching staff, telling them, I can continue to work my magic. And we'll keep close tabs on Furukawa, but so far, that limp that initially he showcased has disappeared relatively quickly.
Yeah, that tends to happen. And if you notice, too, he was talking to his coach about a possible foul, and he certainly knew that Jimmy Memos was right in between them in that conversation. So I'm not talking to you, Mr. Official, but my coach, FYI, I got beat up there.
So he knew that he was within ear length of the point that he was trying to make, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. But I'm talking to my coach.
Not directed at you, but if you're in the vicinity and you could actually take notice of it, it may not hurt.
He does wear a captain band, so he is one of the players that can go out there and navigate situations with the officials.
Furukawa has 1 goal on the season. That came against Friends Academy early this month. There's Donaldson. He's going to leave it here for Sheridan. His Cold Spring Harbor has put down the clamps and has also set the tone on the attack. As, in case you're just joining us, an early goal by Vitagliano, his 7th of the season and his first in the last 4 games. And he created it all by himself.
It's a good thing he's got varsity media there and Lance Meadow on the call. He just got a little highlight reel for himself, and that's one you definitely cut and send to the colleges. That was a sweet-looking play.
Well, I've been told from sources that my voice tends to elevate the chances of going to the other level. I thought that's perhaps what you were putting two and two together.
That was another illusion. That was another thing I was alluding to.
Gotcha. I just wanted to make sure the audience was clear in case there was a gray area.
No, that's definitely the case. I wish you could narrate my life. Elevate me everywhere I go. It's a nice little crowd out here today, too, coming out on this hot night, 7 p.m., pushed it back so that they could play under the lights here for the televised broadcast. And a good little showing out there, student body and parents.
And it's a matter of whether or not Carle Place can provide a spark as the Frogs will throw it in here. And we're seeing the physicality between both of these teams elevating a bit as we're going to enter the final 10 minutes of the first half. It's going to be Gavin Lima who's going to have a free kick here.
It's a big opportunity here for the Frogs. Let's see if they can convert.
It's Cold Spring Harbor able to clear it out. Lima has put his stamp on this rivalry as he was the one that assisted the game-winning goal in last year's Class B County Championship game. It was Costa that scored, but Lima set him up. And this shot is not going to pass through by Maffetone.
You know, out on the field right now, for Carle Place, you got number 10, Luis Gutierrez. He hasn't played much, making his season debut today. And on that free kick, I'm sure Coach Reardon would have liked to seen him go far post. Gutierrez had some space. It looked like he was breaking off, playing that ball short into traffic. I don't know, not the move that they probably wanted.
Well, that's been an indication of what it's been like over the course of this evening. It has been tough sledding. There have not been a lot of alleys and openings because Cold Spring Harbor has been in perfect position.
And now you can see Gutierrez has a dance partner over there. They're not going to let him break free anymore up top, but he did have space on that free kick. Wouldn't be surprised if Coach Lynch said, get on over there and cover him, and Vaquero got over there.
As Nunez trying to put it in play here. Escobar with Lima. Can Carle Place find that narrow opportunity? And again, the Seahawks denying them with their defensive presence.
Presence indeed. They packed it in. There was 6 back there on that right-hand side. That's a wall, which, again, what do you want to see? Switch fields. Find Gutierrez. Get it out of traffic. You got 6 leaning one way. Means the other side is going to have some availability.
Here's Vaquero from the corner, and it was Nunez able to deflect it out of play. Vaquero snuck behind there. It was a good thing that Nunez was in the vicinity to prevent a cross. So Sheridan will have a throw-in here as they try to put pressure on Reynoso, and Reynoso mishandles it, and it goes in. A remarkable turn of events here for Cold Spring Harbor as Connor Sheridan's throw-in doing all the heavy lifting to fool Reynoso. As Rob, here's another look as they pad the lead 2-0.
Reynoso doesn't get his hand on it, and it's another story, but him touching that ball, it's a goal. And, I mean, that's absolutely incredible by Sheridan. A great throw. Decided to put it right on target. Wasn't looking for any of his players. Reynoso with a late jump off the fingertips in the net. Just like that, it's 2-0. And I don't want to keep bringing him up, but that's a Ryan Leary goal. That's exactly how that kid would score. The throw in, right, boom, into the net, and there it is. So Cold Spring Harbor, maybe it is the passing of the torch. That was a Leary-esque goal by Sheridan and an absolutely beauty. 2 players so far unassisted on some really nice plays.
And we talk so much about Sheridan's footwork. Well, it's his hands that also can catch you off guard.
That's a tough break there right there for Carle Place. I mean, just a tough break.
Well, it's one of those goals, Rob, when you look back at the film, you play the coulda, woulda, shoulda game, because right now Carle Place is saying this should be a 1-0 game, and that should have not happened. But unfortunately, it did not bounce their way, and now it puts even more pressure on this Carle Place offense, which has not had even many opportunities in front.
This is where you're going to see those halftime adjustments, see what they're made of. They are state champions. They can get themselves back in this thing, find their head, find that frog way, and do some damage the other way. They just got to either cut this thing down or keep it at 2 going into the half.
Here's Stimful, and that one headed out by Carle Place's defensive line.
Nice service there by Stimful, though. He put it right where you want the ball to be, just Seahawks not able to convert, but a nice kick.
And here, perhaps deja vu all over again. Another Sheridan throw-in. And this one elevated off the header. Carle Place finally able to clear it out. But the Seahawks are going to send it back in. Good job by Vaquero to be aggressive
Yeah, the physicality definitely getting kicked up a notch here, and that call is going to go in favor of the Frogs, but they are starting to get some body on body, shoulder on shoulder. Nice work out there. That was Salacapra. Oh, no, am I wrong?
No, yeah, LaCapra is hurt. Vaccaro
out, right?
was the one that
Vaccaro's
was in the corner.
in, LaCapra's
Vaccaro was in the
All right.
corner. Yeah. LaCapra's got to nurse himself before he can get involved in a play like that. Beautiful sliding tackle there. As you just see the extra effort by the Seahawks on every angle of the pitch here.
Yeah, they are certainly putting in work. And now it's going to have to be Carle Place starting to get a little aggressive, running through the ball. One of the keys to the game, right? He said we got to win our 50-50s. That's not just in the air, but they got to win them on the ground too. Second touch, just as important as the first.
And again, Sheridan is able to break it up as Gomes was trying to create for his teammates. As we see Stimfel. And he's tripped up.
It's going to be a big spot here now, so a free kick right outside the box. Stimfel looks like he's going to be on the ball. We'll see if he goes net or with some of that size. When you got a guy like Sheridan, you know, you have size out there. You can go far post on that. Nero also in there. Owen Nero pressing down a little bit, so we'll see what they do.
So a free kick here for Stimfel, who has a goal and 2 assists this season. Started as an outside midfielder, but they've moved him around and put a little too much mustard on that kick. And it's going to head back the other way.
So right idea, you want to put a little closer to the 6. You know, he went far post, can't blame him, that's where they were lined up, but a little closer to the 6. That's way off the mark that the keeper obviously can't get involved, which is good. But Reynoso, not a very tall goalkeeper, so he's going to have trouble with some of those guys in front. So a missed opportunity there, but they do have 2 tallies on the board.
Which is what we saw when Sheridan threw it in earlier in the contest. That's more of a reason why you want to get a lot of bodies in front of the net and create obstacles for him, as Donaldson will come out of the box to secure that one. Just under 2.5 minutes to go in the first half. And it is just like we saw the final score between both of these teams earlier this month, 2-0 in favor of the home team, Cold Spring Harbor. Tagliano and Sheridan, their 2 leaders, getting on the board. And another clear out by the Seahawks. And again, they just continue to put that shield up to not allow the Frogs to get any breathing room.
And again, too many touches, but, you know, that's something that he's going to look at. It's too many touches. You're giving them time to descend, and then it becomes 1v3. It was a 1v2, and then the third guy comes over because you took too many touches. It's tough. You know, you start to feel that pressure of either taking a shot or distributing the ball somewhere and just running into traffic. So Cold Spring Harbor doing a nice job.
This young Carle Place team going through the learning curve of the ins and outs of their first few games. And one of the things that Connor Reardon has been emphasizing is that when the opponent raises the physicality, that his team seems to get a little bit out of character. And I think, Rob, that probably holds true so far this evening as Reynosa, a nice hustle play to prevent a shot on goal.
That was just straight instinct. I mean, he just – that was a good save by Reynosa to read that. Got a little redirected there and could have been an ugly way to end this half. But you said it. They got to keep their identity no matter how physical this game gets.
Final 30 seconds of half number 1 here in Cold Spring Harbor, New York. Luke Poltz, junior midfielder, and outside right back with the throw in there. There's the Frogs trying to create something here.
We're down to 10.
Escobar trying to tap it in. And the Seahawks, once again, showing that continuous pressure to end the first half with that defensive tenacity that defined the first 40 minutes with Cold Spring Harbor in front of Carle Place 2-0 here on Long Island. And in case you're just tuning in, this was one of the 2 goals. Connor Sheridan with the throw-in off Reynosa's fingertips and in to pad the lead after the Tagliano created all by himself to initially make it 1-0. As the Seahawks able to put a pair of goals on the board to pick up where they left off in the first matchup between these teams. At the break, it is a 2-0 game in favor of Cold Spring Harbor as you are watching a Long Island rivalry come to life on the Varsity Media Network.
Thank you for watching Varsity Media, the leaders in New York high school sports coverage. Now is a great time to book a sportscast with Varsity Media. What sets our sportscast apart isn't just the quality of our production, it's the knowledge, passion, and professionalism that our announcers bring to every game.
It's Merrill. Oh, look at a fake by Merrill. There's the spin again. Gary Merrill is not human. Touchdown, St. Anthony. Profeta! 1-0, Garden City.
Our commentators research athletes and highlight storylines that matter to your communities. Our approach creates a broadcast experience that not only informs, but elevates the athletes, giving the kind of recognition usually reserved for professional levels. Varsity Media's announcers make sure that every athlete has their moment. So book a Varsity Media Sportscast today, and let's get your team the recognition it deserves.
For the latest news in high school sports, be sure to check out varsitymedia.net or follow us on social media at Varsity Media.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is halftime here in the soccer game, and we are here with 3 of the finest officials that we've got in the sport. We'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Steve Denisi. I've been in the organization for 24 years. Also a college national referee, USSF regional referee.
I'm Jonathan. I've been reffing for 6 years now, but this is my first year doing Nassau, and I've been playing at Oneonta at college, playing for 2 years now.
My name's Bobby Baldwin. I've been a referee for 14 years. I've been with the Nassau County Association about 10 years. I'm also a NYSOA NCAA official, in addition to a USSF and futsal referee. And just recently got involved with amputee soccer and was fortunate enough to represent the U.S. in the Gold Cup in Mexico recently for World Cup qualifiers, which was a lot of fun.
All the years that you're doing this, can you tell us what kind of preparation you guys have to do off the field to be in the type of condition that you're in to officiate an entire soccer season?
Fitness is probably the most important thing. You got to keep up with your fitness. That's the most important. The rules, because they're changing, and just watching the game, all the clips that you see on TV that are shown at all the games, and the best way for education is watching soccer.
And Jonathan, you're new to Nassau County Soccer. Can you tell some of the young guys that are interested in joining, or the older guys that are interested in joining the association, what did you have to go through recently to get to where you are today?
So I had to take a lot of classes, just like recertifications to get started, get back into it, because I've had experience reffing, and for Nassau, for high school soccer, JV, whatever it is, it's a process, but it's definitely worth it in the long run. And, to tag along what Steve said too, just preparing is also very good off the field. I always grew up playing soccer and, just watching it on TV, so that also helps a lot, tag along preparing and, just having that experience is very, very helpful.
What kind of things do you look for as an official and make sure that your games are going well?
During the game, as a referee, you're constantly measuring the temperature of the players on the field, trying to determine who's frustrated, and so we can identify problems before they manifest. We try to manage those situations as best we can without having to use the whistle, hopefully, and or worst case scenario cards. But that doesn't always work, and those tools are there at our disposal to be used as necessary. I have to say that over the years, the coaches and the players and the association have been working together, and I really see an improvement all across the board, whether it's spectators, fans, player behavior, bench decorum. We've made strides together, I think, in finding a good middle ground, because at the end of the day, it's always going to be a little crazy, and that's why it's fun. As referees, we feed off of that energy.
What kind of advice or what kind of message you want to give to parents? They're an important part of our game, fans in general.
I think the spectators, I think the most thing is to be positive and to set a good example for their young student athletes. If they're screaming profanities or negative stuff throughout the whole contest, it's not a good way to grow. Not every call is going to go their way. It's 50-50. You have a 50-50 shot of getting it right, as we always say. But if you see the overall big picture, I think a lot of fans don't understand the overall big picture of the game. And the big picture is this: one call doesn't decide the game, and sometimes they harp on the one big decision. Now it might be a big decision, but remember, soccer is whether it's 70 minutes, 80 minutes, 90 minutes, 120 minutes. It's the whole length of the game. So as the athlete should perform throughout the whole contest, the referee is also performing throughout the whole contest.
Can you tell people just one, I guess, basically, and we're going to try to put that graphic up there, but how people can get involved if they want to become officials, and advice that you have to young guys coming into the game?
We've worked hard on the offseason to recruit, first of all, a lot of newer referees, a lot of referees that are experienced, and but new referees to the organization. I think that's going to be reflected on the field this season. You're actually, for the first time, going to see 3-man crews on regular season games, which we never thought would happen, at least in my lifetime. So that's really exciting and a testament to the recruiting that we've done at Nassau County Boys Soccer Officials Association. So that would be the best place to go, is the website, Nassau County Boys Soccer Officials Association. If you Google that, it'll come right up. Just make sure you've got Nassau Boys. There are several different associations out there, although ours is certainly the best.
Like what Bobby said about recruiting and stuff, we're really excited because in the next 3 years, we want to be really, really young, really, really top-notch in the state, and that when we send the best product out to the field, the fans are going to appreciate it, the coaches are going to appreciate it, and more importantly, the student athletes are going to appreciate it.
We want to thank all of you guys for joining us here on the Varsity Media Sports Network, and very honored and privileged to be talking to you guys this evening.
Thank you for watching Varsity Media.
As we are about ready to start the second half here on the Varsity Media Sports Network, Lance Meadow, Rob Anderson with you, as that's Ty Donaldson, the senior goalkeeper for Cold Spring Harbor, had a very strong first half. In fairness, didn't see a lot of opportunities, Rob, come his way because his defensive line did such a good job preventing any balls from going through.
And anything that did go through was early on, and he handled them well. And right now it's his game.
Here's Escobar with a shot. And how about the man of the hour, Donaldson, laying out to prevent what could have been a heck of a goal right out of the gates.
You put the energy out there, Lance, and right after that, you saw what he could do. You said nothing coming at him, and Carle said, "What'd you say?" And he came through. Take a look at this. Dive into his right fingertips, and that thing was bending into the top left corner. What a save.
As Escobar, with his 6'4" frame, was testing Donaldson with some serious power. And Donaldson to the rescue with magnificent timing. And you're right, maybe I spoke too soon. And whatever I threw out there here in Cold Spring Harbor, New York, was heard, and it applied to the game. So we're not going to question Donaldson not seeing anything anymore.
Yeah.
I rest my case.
I'll tell you part of two who helped us with this broadcast today, that Cold Spring Harbor Booster Club, and money well spent. They got to be very happy with this. The other side of it, too, Carle Place did kick in. Their sponsor today is the Carle Place Soccer Club. So two communities that just invest, small communities that like to invest in their sports, their athletes, and their communities. So we thank both of them for making this happen today.
Here's Stimpful. And nearly an opportunity there as Reynoso came in. That was headed and then may have gone into the perfect angle for a shot on goal almost.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Looked like some circus seals out there the way the ball was bouncing around. But Reynoso jumping in there and, showing off his stature there, saying, I can get big too.
Villegas, as they get it back to Escobar. Justin Light was trying to get to it, as well as Logan Gomes, who went down.
Yeah, Gomes took it right off the domes, but he got right back up, thank goodness. I mean, that ball hit him right in the head.
I say the rhyme scheme is in mid-season form for you here. You don't need a tune-up or two.
No, it's that English teacher month. Almost September's almost over.
Well, unfortunately, Gomes was shaken up, so he is now going to be assisted onto a cart, and the training staff will attend to him. So hopefully he is not going to be sidelined for too long, as we saw him go down awkwardly, and now the training staff off camera is just checking in on him as he is sitting in the cart, as we'll see Connor Sheridan coming up here with the free kick.
And that is protocol. It looked like he bounced back up, Gomes did, and then all of a sudden he carted off. And protocol is that it's concussion territory. And tip of the hat to Eric Smith, the official over there. He checked in on him, made sure he got over there. It's a team out there. It's not just trainers, coaches. The officials are looking out for anything head injury as well. So it's not just protect the goalie, it's protect the head area. And I'm sure they'll go through some concussion protocol. So we hope he's all right.
He stepped on the line.
So Sheridan was a little too greedy with that throw in there as he stepped on the line. So that will now give it back to Carle Place. And the Frogs just trying to create a spark, trying to work their magic to get back in this game. We saw the shot from Escobar early on in the second half. Can they get more of that here with Scotch's throw-in deflected out?
Getting a little deeper in the territory there. Poltz knocked the ball out that first time, and then the second defensive touch out of bounds, and Carle Place moving down the field.
Sheridan with that massive leg, not giving Carle Place any flexibility whatsoever. Here is their top weapon, Vitagliano. He scored a goal earlier in this contest, and he didn't need any assistance. Furukawa, who was shaken up earlier in the game, trying to cut through the defense, and Escobar and company not having that. But here is Stimful, just takes it away from Justin. As Ollie Smith, who has been a pleasant surprise for Cold Spring Harbor, was trying to also dance around the defense. Christian Lynch said he might be the best player they have on the ball. That's how impressed they've been with him. He did a nice job on JV. They mixed him around, and now in his junior year, he is shining here on varsity.
And when your coach says...
As Donaldson able to break that shot up.
When your coach says that you're the best on the ball and you're only a junior, what does that say? Some high praise from, a coach who's been around for a long time. I think Christian's got to be in the game close to 20 years. Connor probably in the 15 range. So, these guys have been out there, so that's high praise from a veteran coach.
And as you mentioned, with him being a junior, it also means that there's still room for him to develop and improve.
Yeah, you'll see that too. Again, I can't emphasize enough, when you've got communities like this, one that are just proud communities, small communities, these kids come up playing together. They have the ability to sense where one another are going. A lot of schools in different situations, and both of these schools have very tight-knit soccer communities. Great parents, great support from their administration, so.
Villegas tripped up. They'll resume play here. Escobar on the box out as they're trying to reset. And that shot will bounce off of Donaldson, who was in prime position to make sure that even if that ricocheted off of him, it wasn't going to deflect in.
I tell you, though, that's an upset Connor Reardon, and I know why. That's twice that the ball bounced off the hands of Donaldson, and nobody's following up on the ball. That'll drive you nuts as a coach. Play it. Do not assume anything. And you heard him yelling audibly through our headset to continue play.
Yeah, there was room to pursue, especially that last one, Rob, because even Donaldson didn't realize it bounced off of it. It looked like his shoulder, and he had to hustle to collect it, but there was really no one in the vicinity that made him rush up that process.
No, you heard Connor was loud on that one. I pay attention to him, too, his body language. See the arms crossed. They get higher and higher as he gets frustrated.
And you speak from experience in terms of...
I've seen Connor heated quite a few times. Yeah, I've coached against them. And
do you share some maneuvers with your fellow colleagues and opponents, or you keep it close to the vest?
No, we keep it close. Well, Depends. When we're not at different conferences, we have a little bit more of open conversations.
See, there should be a soccer rule book, which there is. There should also be coach mannerisms, and you could, share the tools of the trade with one another. When to get too high, too low, medium range, and that called for the intensity to rise.
It certainly did. Yeah. It certainly did. And Connor can get the temperature up pretty quickly.
And his temperature is probably rising because of what this young man has done over the course of this match. Connor Sheridan, who has been so active. And you see him again pursuing the ball, just trying to make a play for his team. And Stimfall is going to keep this in. A battle here in the corner. And that is some textbook soccer by Mihalakis.
Incredible. At first I was looking at him like, what are you doing? You were the last touch. Don't take it too far. Used his body to jockey for position and get that ball. That was extremely impressive. Give you a heart attack as a coach, but extremely impressive.
Three-sport athlete. He can do so much on the field because of his athleticism. You're talking about a basketball player, a baseball player, and a soccer player. And the footwork was on full display on that last maneuver, as it has been for Sheridan, who sends a rocket that is deflected. There's Alex Janzik we're seeing. He's another tall presence at 6'4". So we have two players in this game that are 6'4". Janzik and Escobar. As Carle plays coming back the other way with Villegas, and that is not going to challenge Donaldson.
Well, 10 minutes in, Lance, and I say we see a different Frog team. They're coming out with a lot more intensity. They're challenging the ball. They're running through the ball. And they've actually had a few shots there, making Donaldson's life not so easy. Now they just got to continue that pace and try to find the back of the net, get back in this.
Well, it's almost as if, Rob, the script has flipped, because it seems as if we've been on this side of the field where we're seeing on camera right now. They've dominated Carle Place in terms of possession, where it was the opposite end of the spectrum in the first 40. Escobar getting a leg on it. And he'll leave it for Scaccia. And that bouncer is going to go right into Donaldson. So there was no rebound to be had on that one. As Scaccia again in possession. These quick, spontaneous passes for Carle Place, they've been effective.
Yeah, they did a nice job. If you looked at, they're building triangles. They kind of just get in there and play the ball in triangles. But you said it, man. This side of the field's getting all the love right now. If you're a cameraman named Ron Pierre, you don't have to move too much. You just stay on one side and, oh, never mind. Now he's got to work a little. He's going to get a stiff back staying on that side.
See, you have the same illness that I do. It's what you say 1 second, all of a sudden, opposite comes to fruition.
That's it.
On the field. I said that Donaldson didn't see much activity. All of a sudden, the very next second, he's got to have a massive save. And you saying that the production crew is not flexing their muscles enough, and now all of a sudden, they're working.
Going
a
back
little
and
extra
forth.
time.
There you go. But it has been all pressure on this side both ways. Carle Place, I'm very impressed. Whatever was set on the side, adjustment-wise, it just looks like they changed the intensities. They're running out there still, one up top. They haven't changed that. So we'll see what they can get going.
Well, this is a Carle Place team that has scored just one goal in their last two games, and they're still trying to get on the board here in the second half.
That's still in.
Escobar getting his head in the mix, and Carle Place clearing it initially, and that shot goes wide where Reynoso did not have to regroup.
And that was a heck of a shot there, a good look.
Number 20, Julian Light.
So it's Julian Light getting the foot on the ball and just a little too much on the outside of the cleat, bending it the wrong way. But what an opportunity. That's what happens when you muck it up in front of the net like that. Get the bodies, something kicks out, you have a guy in position, and got away with one there, Carle Place.
Yeah, he was at point-blank range. It just went wide, and Light, great opportunity for him. He is the lone freshman on this Cold Spring Harbor roster. They have 15 seniors on the team and just one first year. And Ethan Light is one of those 15 seniors. And speaking of the Lights, they're trying to turn it on here with Sheridan back at the center of things.
That touch there, the junior, Justin Escobar, he's one of the different guys out there getting a look, and clearly you can see why. Trying to put some size out there.
Escobar had the game-winning header 2 contests ago against West Hempstead for them to secure that victory. Lima trying to solve Pulse with the left foot and the ricochet. Can Villegas get an opportunity? And that goes wide.
So that cross, a very nice-looking cross just over the head of the aforementioned Escobar. And then the second look, Villegas gets a little bit too much under it. Looked like he was leaning back on it and kicked the field goal instead, but they are creating opportunities.
And based on what we've been told, I think that 30-yard field goal would have been wide left. So he would have not received 3 points for that, in case he was trying to showcase perhaps what he could contribute to the football team.
Oh, that's a sore subject now, Lance.
We're just trying to tie the storylines together here. As Cold Spring Harbor, again, looking to manufacture some opportunities. And here he is, Julian Light, who had a shot attempt on the last possession. And what a sliding tackle there by Furukawa to try to keep things alive. Villegas and Sheridan were fighting for position. Under 24 and a half minutes to go. And Cold Spring Harbor holding on to this 2-0 lead. As the Seahawks dominated the first half, they've been put a little bit on the edge here in the second half, but it has not been enough to tilt things back towards Carle Place. As Sheridan trying to dial up here on this free kick. As he puts plenty of air into that. And that may give an opportunity here for the Seahawks attack. Stimful trying to get a header on it.
I'm a big fan of Julian Light. I love what he's doing out there. He's creative. He moves the ball really well. On a play like that, he runs to the net instead of keeping the ball, staying wide on the field. I don't know if you saw me. I was, pointing at him when he was making his run. You love seeing it, but the minute they pinch in, they want to be a part of something. You're now giving up all that space. You're allowing the defense to pinch in also, and the ball rolls right through. If Light can hold his position when they're coming down like that and they switch fields, he's a weapon. He showed that with his foot on the last shot.
And this cross elevated a little too much, so Carle Place will not be able to capitalize on that.
Looks like Vaccaro's going to check back in, and Light's going to take a seat.
Cold Spring Harbor, number 11, Luke Vaccaro. For Julian Light.
And Sheridan again will kick off the festivities here. And that's the other thing that you notice, Rob, about Sheridan. Even his free kicks here, it just creates opportunities for them to set up on their side of the field because he gets such arc and leverage on it.
Yeah, you're not kidding. He's got a very long leg. He's going to extend the field. And when you have a guy who has the ability to do that, extend the field and put it on a dart, he also can play it short. He has options, which is great. He's a talented soccer player. He really has a good just IQ for the game, and you can see that today. And I know Light's taking a seat, but I wish he'd get back out there. I really like watching that guy. He's one of these guys that, as a coach, you just love to see what he does. He's creative, but he's also scrappy. So we'll see if he gets back in the game.
Well, as we were talking about earlier, only a freshman. I think that's the most impressive aspect the fact that this is just year one and this is where he's at. I mean,
Yeah.
think about where he can go over the next 2 years even.
And you got a guy like Vaccaro in front of you. There's no small potatoes there. You know, he's got to sit back and wait his part. Vaccaro certainly earning his time.
But with Vaccaro being a senior, he's not going to have to wait too long.
No.
Because his number will eventually be called. And that was actually the first time we saw a pair of 6'4" players in the vicinity of one another with Escobar and Janzik.
All right, we're about 3/4 of the way through this one. Let's see if Carle Place could hit the back. I mean, they are putting the pressure on. They just got to make sure that they can score one and avoid the counterattack.
A lot of activity here in the midfield. Here's Lima. And Donaldson there. As we had a lot of physicality right around those 50-50 balls.
Yeah, it was a little bit of hip contact there. Evan Mihalakis made some contact. It was a play-on type of play. You didn't hear too much complaining on the sidelines. It was just a tough break as Mihalakis tried to break through, and I think he's asking for a blow.
Checking back in for Carle Place number 10, Luis Gutierrez.
So Luis Gutierrez is re-entering for Carle Place. As Lima tried to get a leg on that. Luke Poltz, he's replacing one of those 3 starters that we referenced earlier who was injured, Connor Chamyank, who broke his nose. And they've been very pleased with Poltz's production.
Nobody's noticing the injury in the backfield right now. I don't know if the refs and the coaches, nobody's.
Yeah, we have a Cold Spring Harbor player down.
Yeah, just being pointed out by Coach Lynch now. He just saw we're going to stop the clock. He was sitting down there for quite a while, and it's a good thing that, Lynch saw it because nobody else did, and his teammates weren't hollering for it there. So
that's Alex Janzik, who is shaken up. Donaldson's going to give him a lift up. And he's going to be able to walk off under his own power, which is a positive sign. Seems like he may be favoring that right knee. So Janzik.
And we get a look at both of the benches there, and there's Coach Christian Lynch giving some directives out there. He's looks calm and cool. That's typically his demeanor. I know we mentioned how Reardon works. Lynchy is kind of a laid-back guy. There you go. 5th season as the head coach here, class of 2000 from Northport. And been around this game a long time, Christian Lynch, and a great coach out there. And just relaxed. You can see his demeanor is very different. He can get intense, but
well, it helps when your team's leading 2-0.
That does help. It certainly does.
That's one way to keep you steady, with Poltz throwing it in. So Janzik went to the end of the bench where that knee is being examined.
Is it Christian's only his 5th year? I'm sitting here and trying to do math in my head. I know I coached against him when I was a B. 5 years, huh? Maybe I'm just old. I have no sense of time anymore. I'm 25 years in this game, and
that'll do it to you.
Yeah, I guess I think they're all my peers, but I'm grandpa. Goodness. That's crazy. Lynchy's 5 years.
Well, and then you look at Connor Reardon and how long he has been at Carle Place. We're talking about knocking on the door of 2 decades.
Yeah. Yeah, we talk about it in our meetings. There's a few coaches that have the 2-decade mark over there, but a lot of young blood. 8 new coaches this year in Nassau County, which is a crazy turnover. But these two, solid as a rock, and both their programs looking that way and have looked that way for a long time.
So I guess the 2-decade line, is that grandpa territory?
I think that's
your line of demarcation?
That's
it's
it.
fair to say? Okay.
I mean, I'm a quarter century, so I don't know.
Well, he's getting right behind you.
He's right there.
He's knocking on the door. So you may have somebody to share war stories sooner than later with.
Certainly. Absolutely do. And they were part of our summer league, Carle Place. I got a good look at them this summer. The league is called the South Shore Summer League, so you'd say, why is Carle Place there? A courtesy to Connor and Pat Leary, two friends of mine. And we had a spot, and we wanted to give them a shot to jump in there and join us. One of 8 teams down there, the only one who's not South Shore. So we'll see if they stick around with us. But we got to take a look at them this summer, and they are just a really well-organized team. So, you can see when they turn on the Jets, they get it, Lance. It's just now it's a little more sporadic, right? They came out with a tank full of gas, and now it looks like it's slowing down a little, and they're looking for spots as opposed to that constant pressure, and that's hard to maintain.
So Carle Place will have a throw-in here with Scotcha. As Mihalakis tried to box out, he and Poltz were jockeying for position. So another throw-in here for Scotcha. Just a tough player for the Frogs. Escobar with the header, and the other header is saved by Donaldson. Talk about being in the right place at the right time after they finally got a rebound opportunity.
The shot by number 14, Anthony
Maffetone was the one that got a piece of it with his head after Escobar set him up. And Donaldson is just continuing to put together quite the highlight reel tonight.
Yeah, it certainly was a heck of a play. I mean, right there, the keeper in the right place at the right time, but that ball got through. Escobar with the first header, right? That's the guy we said we're going to look for. And then the second effort, incredible. And a great save there as Donaldson getting tested in the second half and coming up big.
And that may have been their best opportunity all night for the Frogs. Donaldson having a solid season. He came into today with 31 saves and 3 shutouts under his belt, and he's looking for that 4th line of zeros to put forth here. As Vaccaro was trying to track it down with Gutierrez.
corner kick.
So we're going to have a corner kick here for the Seahawks.
It was a tough touch. I'm not sure what the debate is down there as Carle Place trying to make some type of argument, but it's going to be Stimpf. Good ball by Stemfel.
Ollie Smith will try to reset here. And Sheridan's bouncer is secured by Reynoso.
Connor Sheridan. Saved by Sebastian Reynoso.
Here's Stimfel. He puts one on net. And it is Reynoso getting a hand in the way to match wits with Donaldson.
That was some save right there. You know, getting that hand up, knocking it down, and catching it. Not an easy play. So great job by Reynoso there.
Mihalakis trying to set up Lima.
Corner kick.
And it was Sheridan that said, not on my watch.
Jay Reardon kicked that ball down there. He's like, let's get this thing going quickly. They play it short.
It's cleared out by the Seahawks, but Scotcha will send it back in. Escobar with the header, and an opportunity just missed for Mehalakis as Donaldson was there.
They are just off the mark. They are knocking on the door. The problem is the time is dwindling down. We're at 12 minutes remaining in the game, and urgency is starting to certainly set in now.
So a different Carle Place team we've seen in the second half, but they have not been able to finish those opportunities. That has been the difference as the Seahawks on the attack yet again. And a little dancing going in atop the box. As Mehalakis headed to the turf, and he's going to be assisted up by his teammate Lima.
And you don't mind that many touches down there by Cold Spring Harbor. It's going to eat away at the clock a little bit. You know, you hope that they can get a shot off, but now you also pin them deep. And you saw the counterattack. Could have happened right there, but Cold Spring Harbor defensive team waiting for it. So good job there. The other good news is that Logan Gomez is back up on his bench, so it looks like he got through any kind of concussion protocol, and he's back with his team, not on the field, but he's standing up, watching, and that's good to see.
As we've seen a few players shaken up over the course of the game. Janzik on the side of Cold Spring Harbor. He is still on the bench being attended to by the training staff.
And again, I didn't see any contact. I mean, maybe there was some kind of incidental contact that we didn't see behind the play. You hope it's not the turf. A lot of knee injuries since the turf has been put in.
Here comes Carle Place. And Cold Spring Harbor able to slow it down.
It's going to be out of bounds. It's a deep throw, and we're down to 10.
But it'll be the Frogs that will retain possession here.
Gavin Lehman was making a really nice run down the middle of the field, but again, the swarm of that Seahawk defense.
Escobar with the header. Scotcha. He's not going to win that battle as Nunez is the last one to touch that. So it goes back to the Seahawks. You could add that to the laundry list of so many close opportunities for Carle Place. So Ryan Lee is going to enter. He's going to replace Julian Light for Cold Spring Harbor. Lee did not play the last 3 matches, so he's now back in the mix. And off to the races we go here with the Seahawks, with Pultz trying to keep it in. We'll get an opportunity to right the ship. As Stimfel and Pultz are going to play a little give and go. Carle Place able to break it up, but every time it looked like they were going to build momentum, the Seahawks are there to spoil the party.
And earlier I mentioned about how players play off the ball. If you look at Pultz, he does a great job getting into space. It's just his touches are not getting to where he wanted them. Otherwise, some really nice scoring opportunities. But Pultz playing space really, really well, getting up involved in the offense.
Speaking of space, that's what the Seahawks have right now with under 8.5 minutes to go.
It's a block shot.
And a block there by Carle Place, and then Reynoso able to back up his line with some nifty maneuvering.
I think we could agree, some sensational goalkeeping on both sides. This score could be very, very different, but some heads-up play. And the difference makers right now is obviously that beautiful touch on the first goal and then the throw-in on the second. 2 that are impossible for a keeper.
As Mehalakis trying to make a play on the ball.
Corner kick.
So they'll have a corner kick here, the Frogs, as they again try to set up their attack to perhaps get a deflection. And it is going to be Villegas the senior midfielder that will orchestrate traffic.
It's going to be a deep throw, right? He's out of bounds.
Villegas all-county honorable mention last season. He's a 3-year starter, and with all the talent they've lost, that's why he has now assumed a role where he will be the go-to guy. And that deflection nearly set up a good look, but Carle Place could not capitalize with Mihalakis.
And the bodies are starting to collide a lot more. You see players going down, but so far everything incidental.
Mihalakis, number 19.
So here's the upcoming schedule for Cold Spring Harbor with Friends Academy in Wheatley, followed by Evergreen Charter and Oyster Bay as we go into the early stages of October.
So how important this game when you're going to go up against Friends Academy next and Wheatley on deck, top 3 teams right there. So this one, a big win if Cold Spring Harbor could hold on to it.
And Reynoso making quite the decision there to slide in safely to snag the ball.
Yeah, Jaron Nunez was shielding him, but kind of lightly, and his keeper made a decision when he had to.
As Maffetone was trying to create something off the right side. Five and a half minutes remaining in the second go-around between Carle Place and Cold Spring Harbor. And this score is identical to what the final score was when these teams met earlier this month. And in that showdown, it was Poltz and Graydon Vitagliano that scored the goal. So Vitagliano's got 2 goals this season against Carle Place alone. And Connor Sheridan has the other.
5 minutes.
So now that we're in the 5-minute mark, for those of you at home, if there are any substitutions, well, what a save. Any substitutions by the Seahawks right now, clock stops. So there will be a stoppage. If the winning team subs with under 5 minutes, you cannot kill any clock. It stops. That being said, Carle Place can sub at will.
Scotcha to Escobar. Mihalakis with 3 defenders in the vicinity, and he sends one in front, and Donaldson able to regroup quick enough to prevent yet another rebound.
Let's get another look at this one here. I mean, this shot is right on Squirts, and he stops it right at the line again. This is what we said earlier. If you're not going to corral the ball every single time, Carle Place has got to be there. Just chase that thing like a dog.
It was really a 1-on-3, 1-on-4. There was no one else in front to create something, and that's what Connor Reardon was irritated with earlier in the contest.
Yeah, I mean, that's something you could bet. If anybody's taking notes, it's going to be Coach Lynch. We got to hold on to that ball. The teams watching this are going to say, hey, we got to keep pressure on this keeper. He's made some dazzling saves, but the ones that look like they're routine sometimes squirt off the glove.
And good things tend to happen when you put the ball on goal because you're at least going to maybe get a deflection, and that could create some second-chance opportunities. And they've had a few, but nobody has been within striking distance, and that's a big reason why this score is still 2-0. As we look at some of our upcoming broadcasts, to stay tuned to the Varsity Media Sports Network, specifically soccer, carry at Bethpage in early October. Garden City will host Glen Cove in a battle between Syosset and Baldwin. So all of that on the horizon here on Varsity Media.
But we're going to have Matt speak with Uniondale as well. So there's some heavy hitter matchups. Everybody's got that GC versus GC circle. They know that whenever there's a clash between Garden City and Glen Cove, it is a game to watch. So, folks, tune in to Varsity Media. We got some really good ones. Carrie and Bethpage also jockeying for position for a playoff spot in the AA A's. Literally right on top of each other there. So some good soccer coming up.
Let's go!
So, free kick here for Lima.
No.
And a missed opportunity yet again. You can see the frustration by Mihalakis.
Evan Mihalakis.
Thought perhaps he could make something there.
It's as good a free kick as you're going to get. That's a perfect service right there. And Mihalakis just got it off the top of the head instead of the forehead and up and over the net. And with now under 2 minutes left, it feels like that was the shot to really get this thing halfway there.
It has been an evening of frustration for the Frogs as they have flipped the switch in the second half. The final 40 minutes, a lot different than the first 40, but just no goals to show for their aggressive approach. Is Escobar coming up. And a battle in the corner as Scaccia gets it to Reynoso. As we approach the final minute of this one.
Final minute of play in the second half. 1 minute.
So now that we know Wheatley came in with the tie versus Oyster Bay, we got that news in a little earlier. Cold Spring Harbor, they hold on to this, which they should. They're going to have 5 wins, putting them right up there against Friends Academy. And for Carle Place, they're going to fall to 2-4-1. They've got an uphill battle here.
And those 5 wins have not been easy for Cold Spring Harbor. It has come with a lot of ups and downs themselves, but you can see this team is starting to take form and getting more and more comfortable, specifically from a mental side of things, which is something that Christian Lynch talked about. It's not so much the physicality, it's about how we approach a game and where we are, energy-wise. And you saw that energy immediately within the first few minutes of the first half. As that is going to do it here in Cold Spring Harbor, New York, with the Seahawks for the second time this season shutting out Carle Place 2-0 to sweep the regular season series. As we look at Vitagliano, started it off, creating all by himself and finding the back of the net, and then Sheridan on a throw-in, giving them some additional padding. Those are the 2 goals in this contest. That's what sealed it, and even though we may see these teams meet again on a different level, whatever it may be, this is certainly quite a big statement for the Seahawks in the early stages of the season.
It certainly is. Like I said, they got their 5th win. They're up at the top of the standings, and they are battling hard for Cold Spring, for Carle Place. It's going to be an uphill battle, but we saw those 2 highlight reel goals. That's what it takes to beat Carle Place. Vitagliano and Sheridan, solo jobs, both of them getting it done. And let's tip our hat to Donaldson and Reynoso, both keepers doing so much to keep their teams in the game. Donaldson collecting the W on this one, but like you said, Lance, they'll be back. This is a North Shore battle. We'll see plenty more out of them. Congratulations, Cold Spring Harbor.
Ty Donaldson with his 4th shutout of the season. Vitagliano with his 7th goal. Sheridan with his 2nd, as that is going to wrap things up for us here in Cold Spring Harbor, New York. Our executive producer, Ben Turchin, technical director, Becca Kazaks. Want to thank our entire crew and those of you watching from afar here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. For Rob Anderson, I'm Lance Meadow. The final score once again, Cold Spring Harbor 2, Carle Place 0 here on Long Island.